What's happening, everybody? Crossing Broad here. Super Bowl 54 coming at you this Sunday from Miami. San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs. Promises to be a great football game, but best of all, there are thousands of betting options at our disposal. We are going to get into those options with our full betting preview in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to let you know that you can head over to crossingbroad.com. We will have all of the best Super Bowl 54 promotions lined up for you. And also be sure to head over to crossingbroad.com/DK. Check out DraftKings Sportsbook. They have up to $1,000 of free bet offers for this big game. And they also have a plus 300 odds offer on either the 49ers or Chiefs to win the game outright. Bets up to $20, paying out $60. Be sure to get your hands on that. crossingbroad.com/DK. All right, let's take a look at the current odds courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook as we talk here early in the week. San Francisco currently a 1.5-point underdog, plus 108 on the money line. Kansas City minus 122 to win the game outright if you're looking to eliminate the point spread. Minus 122 returns 100. And in terms of the total, after opening at 51, 51.5 at a lot of sports books, it is all the way up to 54 right now at DraftKings. In terms of some things to know if we're betting on this game, and chances are if you're watching this video, you will be betting on the game, know that favorites are 35 and 18 straight up, winning almost 2/3 of the time. They are, however, only 26, 25, and 2 ATS in Super Bowl history, and only 6 and 10 against the spread in the last 16 Super Bowls. In terms of these two teams, Chiefs come into this game at 12-5-1 ATS overall, 7-0-1 ATS over their last 8 games, so they've been red hot as a spread bet. 49ers, meanwhile, 11-6-1 ATS, overall 6-2 ATS their last 8 games. So both teams have been good bets against the number recently. Something else that you ought to know, 49ers coming into this game with a 13-3 record, Chiefs at 12-4. Why does that matter? Because only 2 teams over the last 14 years who have had the better regular season record have gone on to win the Super Bowl. So that trend, though it's, obviously not a scientific trend, kind of does favor the Chiefs, something to keep in mind. And don't get caught up in the spread, especially when it's only 1.5 like it currently is. All you have to do is pick the winner. The winner of the Super Bowl has covered 45 times. So chances are if you can pick the right side to win, you're probably going to also pick the team that covers the spread. And certainly that would appear to be the case this year with such a short line. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the current spread. 49ers come in as a 1.5-point underdog, but they are arguably the better overall and more complete team. They are very good on the defensive line. They can run the football. Jimmy Garoppolo, though he has not had to do much in the postseason, has been a competent and effective passer at times. You go back to that game against the Saints on the road that really got the Niners the 1 seed. He's done the job at times this season, but I think for a lot of people, this is really about a tale of 2 quarterbacks. And when you stack up Patrick Mahomes next to Jimmy Garoppolo, it's hard to go against the Chiefs in this scenario. Mahomes, a 65.7% completion percentage in the postseason, 615 total yards passing, 8 touchdowns, no picks, almost 8.8 yards per attempt, a 131.5 quarterback rating. And oh, by the way, he's also added in 106 rushing yards and a score on the ground. You put that next to Garoppolo, 63% completion percentage is fine, but he's only thrown for 208 yards in the 49ers' 2 postseason games this far. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 7.7 yards per attempt, and only an 83.6 quarterback rating, and -1 rush yard. Mahomes has been lights out. Jimmy Garoppolo has been pedestrian at best. Now, as we move along here, there are some very strong reasons that it makes sense to put your money on the 49ers in this game. And it starts with the balance. They have a top 5 offense and defense. And when you look at the completeness of each of these teams, the 49ers, as I said earlier, are probably the most balanced and certainly the more complete team. Kyle Shanahan, also good underdog head coach, 18-13 ATS overall as an underdog. And that is also including 8-2 ATS when Jimmy Garoppolo starts, which is fantastic. 80% cover rate in Garoppolo's starts. There are also some trends that are working against the Chiefs in this game. Obviously, Kansas City's offense has been very explosive so far in the postseason. You should know, though, teams averaging at least 29 points per game are only 2-7 ATS over the last 9 Super Bowls. Kansas City averaging over 29 points per game for the entire regular season and postseason. That does not bode well, at least recently, in terms of covering the spread in the Super Bowl. Also see this here, teams that have won 9 of their last 10 games leading into the Super Bowl, as the Chiefs have, are only 2-6 straight up, 1-7 against the spread. So even though the Chiefs are as hot as anybody and presumably coming in with all of this momentum building up over the last 2 months, that has not necessarily translated to victories and covers in the Super Bowl. Also know the teams that have been or that have outscored the opposition by at least 12 points per game over a 10-game stretch leading into the Super Bowl are only 4-8 ATS. So it's not just that the Chiefs are winning, it's that they're blowing out opponents. And again, that has not translated into victories and covers in the Super Bowl, at least not at a high rate. And here's a stupid trend to know, but something that people will be talking about leading up to this game. Teams wearing white have won 13 of the last 15 Super Bowls, and yes, the 49ers will be wearing white on Sunday in Miami. Now, if you've been watching our videos for the past few weeks, it should be no surprise to you that I like the Kansas City Chiefs in this football game. I locked them in as my bet to win the Super Bowl after the wild card round, actually. So here we are. Why taking the Chiefs makes sense, and really this is why I am taking the Chiefs in this football game. And it starts with Andy Reid, the much maligned Andrew Walter Reid. I believe finally, after 20 plus years as a head coach in the NFL, he is going to capture his first Lombardi trophy. As a head coach, Andy Reid, 19-6 straight up since 2003 with an extra week to prepare, 16-9 ATS, 64% cover rate. That is outstanding. It's always been one of Reid's strengths dating back to his time with the Eagles. Since 2003, Reid is 87, 68, and 5 ATS when he's getting at least 55% of spread bets. 39, 28, and 2 ATS with the Chiefs. He's also 33, 21, and 2 against the spread when getting at least 58% of the spread bet action. And the teams that are getting at least 55% of the action on spread bets are 7-3 ATS over the last 10 Super Bowls. Why does this matter, and how does it pertain to the Chiefs? Because people are hammering Kansas City right now. As we record this video, Chiefs getting roughly 60% of the spread bet action. Obviously, this can change throughout the week, something to keep an eye on, but if the early betting patterns hold, this is something that you need to know. Andy Reid has been outstanding when the public backs his team against the spread. Also, teams that have scored at least 30 points in their previous 2 games heading into the Super Bowl, 5-2 ATS over the last 7 championship games. Know that. Super Bowl teams that have had the line move against their favor. For instance, if you're a 2-point favorite that becomes a 3-point favorite. These teams are 9-5 ATS in the Super Bowl. We saw this last season when the Patriots saw the line move against them in the Super Bowl against the Rams, and they went on to win the game 13-3, obviously. In fact, going all the way back to 2003, playoff teams that have seen the line move against them are 77, 54, and 4 against the spread. That's nearly a 60% cover rate. They are also 6-2 ATS this postseason. And finally, a stupid trend on the Chiefs. Teams with less Super Bowl experience are 8-5 over the last 13 Super Bowls. KC outnumbered 8-2 in terms of players with Super Bowl experience. San Francisco is the more experienced team, and that does not matter. People say that it does. It has not held up, though, in recent Super Bowls. So let's get into some Super Bowl 54 predictions. Here's what I am taking. You heard me say it a couple minutes ago. I like the Chiefs. So there are some different offers and plays on the Chiefs across the legal sports books that I'll be taking advantage of this Sunday. I'm heading over to DraftKings, crossingbroad.com/DK, taking the Chiefs. I'll lay the 1.5. That'll be my play of the day, my main play. But there is also a way that I can get some extra value as well. I can head over to FoxBet, crossingbroad.com/FB, download FoxBet. They were offering early in the week Chiefs minus 1.5 and over 44.5 points. Obviously, you're getting nearly 10 points of value on the total. It's the same game parlay with an adjusted total and the standard spread. That was paying out plus 140 at the time of this recording. That is obviously subject to change. And then FanDuel Sportsbook, crossingbroad.com/FD. You can grab the Chiefs to win by 1 to 13 points with a plus 160 payout. Like I said, I like Kansas City to win the game, but San Francisco is a complete team, can do a lot of things well. I don't think that Kansas City is going to run away with this, so I can essentially eliminate the point spread and try to maximize my payout on the Chiefs. All right, we have spreads, game totals, novelty props, player props. You name it, you can bet on it in Super Bowl 54. And if you're looking to get in on the action, once again, head over to crossingbroad.com. Tons of great offers and bonuses for all the legal online sportsbooks in your state. And also be sure to check out DraftKings Sportsbook, crossingbroad.com/DK, up to $1,000 in free bets ahead of Super Bowl 54. And don't forget, plus 300 odds on both the Chiefs and the 49ers to win the game, $20 max bets. Be sure to take advantage of it by signing up at crossingbroad.com/DK.